there is a profound truth that too many men fail to fully grasp. A truth so powerful that it has the potential to completely reshape how you see yourself and your value in any relationship. That truth is this: she needs you more than you'll ever need her. And before you jump to conclusions, let me clarify. This has nothing to do with diminishing women or implying that they are weak. It's not about their capabilities or worth. It's about something far deeper. When a man fully steps into his purpose, his mission, and his inherent power, he becomes something extraordinary. He becomes irreplaceable. This isn't arrogance. This is awareness. The reality is, when you're living in alignment with your true purpose, when you embody strength, discipline, and emotional mastery, you transform into something that the world, and yes, the women in it, recognize, even if they don't always articulate it. That is the silent power of a man who understands his worth. In this video, we're going to explore the concept of male value in relationships. We'll delve into emotional control, legacy, masculine discipline, and examine how great Stoic men throughout history handled love, relationships, and power. We'll uncover the mindset that elevated them above the noise and confusion of ordinary existence. If you're a man who's seeking clarity on your role in a relationship, or if you've ever felt lost, unappreciated, or invisible in your connection with a woman, this video is for you. By the end of this journey, you'll discover the truths most men never hear, the power they rarely tap into, and the wisdom they need to lead and thrive in all areas of their life. Before we dive in, take a moment to engage. Like this video if you can feel the weight of this truth. Share it with a brother who's ready to step into his power. Subscribe if you want more content steeped in wisdom, discipline, and unwavering strength. Comment below and let us know where you are on your journey as a man. Are you embracing your full potential, or are you still searching for your path? Now let's begin. 1. The value of a man is built, not given. From the moment a man enters this world, nothing is handed to him. Not his worth, not his respect, not his value. It's all earned. It's all built. You are not born with an inherent value that others simply recognize. You must cultivate it piece by piece, day by day, through the discipline of your actions, the sacrifices you make, and the wisdom you gain through life's trials. There's an uncomfortable reality that most men are never told. A man's value is not given to him. It is forged in the crucible of hardship. It's created through pain, struggle, and persistence. And that's what makes you invaluable. That's what makes you necessary. Think about it. Women, for all their grace, beauty, and nurturing qualities, are not simply drawn to a man because of his charm or external appearance. While those traits may catch their attention, what truly anchors their attraction is strength, direction, and stability. These are the qualities that offer more than just temporary affection. They offer security, confidence, and the ability to lead, something a man must provide if he wants to be truly valued. But what does that look like in practice? What does it mean for you as a man, in today's world, to embody this idea of masculine value? It means understanding that real value comes from within, and that the cultivation of your inner strength and purpose is what makes you powerful. Stoic wisdom. Strength without the need for validation. Let's talk about Marcus Aurelius for a moment. One of the most powerful men in history, not because of his empire, but because of his philosophy. Marcus Aurelius ruled the Roman Empire not by chasing approval, but by mastering himself first. He followed the Stoic principles that have stood the test of time. His reflections in meditations were never meant to impress anyone. They were personal reminders to himself. He wrote for the purpose of grounding his mind, for ensuring that he remained centered despite the noise and chaos of ruling an empire. His power came from within, not from outside validation. He wrote, You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Take that wisdom and apply it to your own life, particularly in the context of relationships. When you stop seeking approval from others, from women, from society, or from anyone, you become more powerful. You are no longer ruled by the fleeting emotions of the moment. You become anchored in principle, purpose, and self-control. This creates a magnetic energy that draws people to you because you are no longer chasing validation. You are embodying it. When you are grounded in your masculine energy, a woman will sense this. She will be drawn to it. And it's not because you're trying to win her over. It's because you stand in your own power. You're not in need of anything from her. And that is precisely what makes you attractive. The man who knows who he is doesn't ask for attention. He commands it. Historical truth. The men, women, followed. Let's take a broader look at history. Look at the great men who changed the course of the world. These were men who didn't spend their lives chasing affection or validation from women. In fact, many of the most influential men in history had no time to pursue romantic relationships because they were so immersed in their purpose. Take Alexander the Great as a prime example. He was one of the most powerful leaders the world has ever known, and yet he wasn't consumed with seeking affection. His mission was to build an empire. His purpose came before anything else. His presence alone was magnetic. It commanded attention. He wasn't out to please anyone. He was out to lead, to conquer, to build something greater than himself. And women followed. Why? Not because he pursued them, but because he was going somewhere. He had direction. He had a vision. He wasn't idle, waiting for life to happen to him. He was creating his legacy, one battle at a time. A man with a mission is a man who is impossible to ignore. Even today, we see this truth in men who live with a clear sense of purpose. Whether they are entrepreneurs, philosophers, or leaders, their attractiveness lies in the fact that they are already whole. They don't need anyone to complete them. They are driven by a vision, and that makes them more powerful and valuable than any man who is simply chasing affection. The power of purpose. Are you building value or begging for it? Now ask yourself honestly, are you building value or begging for it? Most men fall into the trap of seeking validation from the world around them, from their jobs, their relationships, or even social media. They chase after approval, craving recognition and affirmation. But what happens when you stop chasing and start building? The shift is profound. When you start focusing on what you can offer rather than what you can receive, you will discover a remarkable truth. You will no longer need validation. Women will recognize your strength not because you asked for it, but because you have become something irresistible. Your value will be obvious to them, and it won't be because you're seeking their approval. It will be because you embody strength, leadership, and purpose. She will need your masculine leadership. She will need your protection, your vision, your direction. Your value will no longer be something you have to beg for. It will be something you command through your actions, your discipline, and your unwavering commitment to your purpose. Drop a comment below. What's one way you're actively building your value as a man today? Share your thoughts and let's start a conversation about how you're stepping into your power. 2. The power of emotional detachment in relationships. There is a subtle yet profound difference between love and attachment, between connection and dependency. Too many men fall into the trap of confusing these two concepts, and this confusion is where much of their suffering stems from. Emotional detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It doesn't mean you withdraw or shut yourself off from love. No, it means you do not collapse. It means you have the ability to love without losing yourself, to give without begging for validation, and to walk away without being broken. It's not about being cold or indifferent, it's about power. Stoic mastery, love without ownership. The Stoics, those ancient philosophers of resilience and self-mastery, taught one central truth that still holds profound relevance today. You cannot control others. You cannot dictate their feelings, actions, or behaviors. You can only control your own thoughts, emotions, and reactions. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic minds, said it clearly. When you are delighted with anything, be not elated too much, but say to yourself, what harm is there in this being taken away? This statement encapsulates real strength. Your sense of self and emotional balance should never be tied to another person's approval or behavior. When you are emotionally detached in this sense, you are not heartless, rather, you are clear. You have the ability to observe life without being swept up in the chaos of fleeting emotions. You can love deeply, but you do not become enslaved by that love. True emotional detachment is not about withdrawing. It is about maintaining your center of gravity, even when the external world spins out of control. When you embrace this mindset, you stop reacting impulsively. You don't panic when she pulls away. You don't crumble when the relationship is challenged. Instead, you move with a quiet authority. You stay grounded because you know who you are, regardless of the external circumstances, even when she might momentarily forget who you are. Modern truth. Women test men emotionally. Whether consciously or unconsciously, women test men emotionally. These tests aren't malicious. They are natural expressions of a woman's need for security, confidence, and leadership in her man. They want to know, can he stay calm when I lose my composure? Can he remain grounded when I am emotionally unstable? Can he lead when I falter? If you fail these tests, the consequences are severe. If you react emotionally every time she does, if you lose your cool when she's uncertain, if you become too desperate to please her, you lose her respect. Respect, after all, is at the foundation of attraction. And when a woman loses respect for a man, the emotional connection begins to fray. Mistakenly believe that a woman leaves because she has stopped loving them, but more often than not, she left because you stopped leading yourself. You became too available, too emotional, too reactive. Women don't want to lead. They don't want to constantly manage your emotional state. They want to follow a man they trust. And trust doesn't come from words. It is born from your actions. Specifically, it comes from your ability to stay calm under pressure, to maintain emotional control when the storm rages around you. It comes from your ability to remain unshaken when everything else is in chaos. Historical example: the quiet power of General George Washington. Let's take a look at one of the most compelling examples of emotional detachment in history, General George Washington. Washington wasn't a man of grand speeches or dramatic gestures. He wasn't out there trying to win hearts and minds with flashy promises or persuasive words. Instead, he led through quiet, unwavering strength. When the nation was teetering on the brink of collapse during the Revolutionary War, Washington remained calm. When his troops were cold, starving, and disillusioned, he didn't fold under pressure. He kept moving forward. When the country begged him to seize absolute power to become a monarch, he walked away from it. That's the epitome of emotional detachment: power without ego, love without possession, duty without desperation. Washington didn't cling to power. He didn't chase the approval of the people. Instead, he led with resolve and integrity, and others followed. His emotional control in the face of adversity earned him the trust and respect of those around him. This is the same kind of quiet power you must develop in your relationships. You don't need to demand attention or chase after affection. You don't need to explain or justify your worth. Your ability to lead with emotional control, to remain anchored in your identity, no matter the emotional turbulence around you, is the most powerful attraction you can wield. In your relationship, are you leading or losing yourself? Now ask yourself, are you leading with emotional control, or are you losing yourself trying to please her? If she knows that your world doesn't crumble without her, if she can see that you are not emotionally dependent on her for your sense of worth, she will respect you more. And ironically, the less you need her, the more she will be drawn to you. Nothing is more attractive than a man who does not need to be needed. Ask yourself, when was the last time you reacted emotionally instead of responding with strength? The key is to pause, to observe, to reflect. Emotional mastery is not about suppressing your feelings, it's about choosing how you respond. And your response should be grounded, composed, and purposeful. Challenge for this week. The next time you feel disrespected, ignored, or provoked, don't explain, don't chase. Instead, pause, detach, observe. Let your stillness, your clarity, and your emotional control speak louder than any argument ever could. Drop a comment below. What's one emotional habit you're learning to control, and how is it changing the way you show up as a man? The power of non-attachment. Master yourself. Master the dynamic. Here's a profound truth that many men don't grasp until it's too late. You lose power in a relationship the moment you make her your center. A woman can love you deeply, she can be infatuated, even obsessed, but the moment she senses that your entire world revolves around her, that love begins to fade. Her attraction begins to wane. Men were not built to orbit women. We were built to lead. We were built to conquer ourselves, to forge purpose, to build legacies. The great Stoics, men like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, understood this truth deeply. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "Do not hanker after what you don't control." And what is more outside your control than the emotions of another human being? No matter how deeply she loves you, her feelings are ultimately her own to decide, and you cannot control them. But what you can control, and with absolute power, is your own sense of self, your purpose, and your independence. The more you try to control her affection, to cling to her attention, to shape her feelings toward you, the more she will subconsciously pull away. You see, by trying to control her, you lose the very thing that makes you powerful in the first place, your independence. When you detach, she respects you. More, it may sound counterintuitive, but it's the truth. The less emotionally dependent you are on her, the more she will be drawn to you. Why? Because non-attachment isn't about being cold or indifferent. It's about being confident. It's the understanding that you choose her, but you do not need her to complete you. You are already whole. Look at the samurai of feudal Japan. These warriors were bound by an unbreakable code, Bushido. Their loyalty was not to any one person, it was to a higher purpose. They could love, they could marry, but their soul belonged to the discipline, to the honor, and to the principle of death before dishonor. The samurai's mission was greater than any individual relationship. And this, my friend, is a lesson modern men must remember. When your mission is bigger than her, when your loyalty is first and foremost to your purpose, you do not chase, you lead. You don't break down when she withdraws, when she becomes distant or uncertain. You become still. And that stillness, that silence, is terrifying because it shows her that you are not emotionally enslaved by her mood swings or her need for validation. Let her chase stability, not emotion. A powerful man is not caught up in emotional cycles. He does not get swept away in the highs and lows of her feelings. Instead, he becomes the anchor in the storm. She can test him, she can cry, she can rage, she can throw every emotional storm at him. But a truly grounded man does not lose himself in her chaos. Because here's the truth, the moment you lose your center because of her emotional state, you've lost your masculine frame. Your masculinity, your power, comes from your ability to remain grounded no matter what's going on around you. You must be the rock she clings to, not the waves that rise and fall with her. Think about Napoleon Bonaparte, one of the most ambitious and powerful men in history. He was a man who built an empire, who reshaped the entire European landscape. Yet when he became overly invested in a woman who no longer respected him, when he allowed her emotions to dominate his own, she drifted. Napoleon didn't lose his empire because of wars or battles. He lost his power because he became emotionally entangled with a woman who no longer saw him as the leader, the man with unshakable presence. The moment he became emotionally vulnerable, the dynamic shifted, and so did his fortune. You see, you do not gain a woman's devotion through emotional entanglement. You gain it through an unshakable presence, a steady resolve, and a mission that is bigger than both of you. Ask yourself this. When was the last time you felt your center slipping because of a woman? Is she pulling you off track? Are you becoming too emotionally dependent on her approval or attention? Are you leading your life right now, or have you given away your emotional power to her? This week, reclaim your center. Reflect daily on your purpose and your mission. Train hard in all aspects of your life, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Build in silence. Your work should speak louder than your words. Let her feel the strength of a man whose soul cannot be swayed by any woman. Not because he doesn't care, but because he cares more about becoming unbreakable. Drop a comment below. Have you ever experienced a shift in respect from a woman when you became too emotionally available? How did you reclaim your power? 4. When you become the mountain, she follows the storm. There is a level of masculinity that no woman can resist. It's not about looks, it's not about money, it's not even about status. It's about the way a man carries himself when he no longer needs anything, especially validation. This is the moment you become the mountain. Solid, immovable, and unshaken by chaos. When you become that man, something shifts. She stops testing. She stops challenging. She starts trusting. She starts following. Why? Because in your presence, everything becomes still. No matter how intense her emotions are, no matter how uncertain the world becomes around you, you remain grounded. You become the constant in her life. And that stillness, that unwavering confidence, is what she craves more than anything. She needs that stillness, even if she fights it. You must understand, feminine energy craves direction. It wants to flow, to express, to feel, to move. It needs freedom. But when feminine energy encounters masculine stillness, something beautiful happens. It surrenders, not because she's weak, but because your strength makes her feel safe enough to let go. She may test you. She may challenge you. She may try to pull you off your center, not to destroy you, but to see if she can trust you, to see if you are strong enough to lead when the world is uncertain, when her emotions are swirling and when everything seems unstable. But here's the truth. If you react with emotion, she loses faith. If you chase her approval, she loses attraction. But if you hold your frame, if you respond with strength, with calm, she will follow you anywhere. She will trust you. She will respect you. Historical reminder: Napoleon and the frame of command. Let's look at one of the most magnetic leaders in history. Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon had many lovers, but what made him so dangerously attractive wasn't his looks. It was his unshakable sense of purpose and his absolute power. Napoleon was the embodiment of a man who controlled not only his external environment but also his internal world. He once said, "The strong man is the one who is able to intercept at will the communication between the senses and the mind." Napoleon was a master of self-control. He didn't allow his emotions to dictate his actions. He walked into rooms with total composure. His decisions were made with absolute confidence. He was calm when others panicked, unyielding when others wavered. And because of this, men feared him and women followed him. The key takeaway here is simple. Control the moment or the moment will control you. You are the standard. When you walk in your power, when you hold your frame, you become the standard. She will measure every other man by you. You become the man she compares every conversation, every action, every relationship to. Not because you try to impress her, but because you simply are. You don't beg for attention. You don't chase her. You lead. You become the man who doesn't just speak, he acts. You become the man who doesn't beg, he leads. You become the man who doesn't seek validation. He commands respect. She needs you more than you'll ever need her, because true masculine power cannot be replaced. Not because you're cold or heartless, but because you are whole. And in a world full of men seeking to be chosen, you become the one who chooses. She wants to feel you're in control, not just of her, but of yourself. She wants to feel your presence, not your desperation. She wants to feel your leadership, not your emotional chaos. A woman is drawn to the man who doesn't just offer her emotions or promises, but offers her something real, his grounded masculine energy. That is the foundation of attraction, respect, and trust. Are you being the rock? Or are you getting washed away by the waves? This week, stand firm, be still, move with purpose, speak with clarity. Don't respond to every emotional wave she throws your way. Don't explain your worth. Embody it. Let her chase peace and let her find it in your presence. Drop a comment below. What's one thing you've learned about how to lead a relationship with calm, masculine energy? If this message hit home, like this video, share it with a man who needs this strength. Subscribe for more deep, powerful content rooted in ancient wisdom and modern masculinity. And most importantly, drop a comment and let us know how you're becoming the man who leads with purpose, silence, and strength. Because in the end, she doesn't need another man to impress her. She needs a man strong enough not to try. Keep building, keep growing, and remember, you are the prize.